Hello and welcome to the RV Living Show. I'm Luann Street with Design Your RV Life. So as many of you may know, if you've been around for a while, I am rebranding into Design Your RV Life. If you haven't if you have met me before, you're going to know that I used to be Where the Streets Wander. So just wanted to kind of clear that up a little bit. But today we're going to be doing Plan With Me RV travel planning. For April 2022. I thought it would be a fun way to maybe get inside some travel planning strategies and watch how I do my travel planning. Now, as I am moving forward with my solo RV life, I'm not full-time currently. So as I move through this, I'm going to give tips for full-time when we did full-time travel planning and when I'm doing the part-time travel planning. But this is a new thing that I wanted to try out. I really want you to let me know if this has been valuable to you at the end. If you'll, comment and let me know, hey, this was worth watching, or is there something you'd like to know? Please leave that comment so that I can, know more about what you would like to get out of these kind of planning sessions. So I'm kind of doing this off the cuff since I haven't ever done this before. And I wanted to kind of dive into, a little bit about travel planning. Travel planning can be really hard, especially if you have to do it a lot. If you're a full-timer and you're always travel planning, trying to keep up with that it can be a hard task. But it also can be hard as a part-timer when you have to fit in the things that you want to do within a certain period of time. So you have challenges with both types of travel planning, right? But the biggest challenge, and this was from early on in my RV life, was to keep track of it all. And so I developed an RV travel planner. It's called the Complete RV Travel Planner. This is mine. And early on, Brian and I developed this because we wanted a place to record and keep everything all in one place. Sometimes we had it on our Google Calendar. Sometimes we had it in the Notes app. Sometimes we had it on pieces of paper. And so by developing this travel planner, we were able to keep everything that we wanted and knew right where it was. And it was all in one place that either of us could grab and know what was coming up next or what needed to be done next. So if you're here with me live, please say hello in the comments. I would love to chat with you after this is over. But if you have struggled travel planning, put that in the comments too. Let me know, where are you struggling? Are you struggling to get ideas? Are you struggling in actually planning the day-to-day things that go on with the travel planning? Are you struggling to figure out your routes or your destinations or even your activities at your destination? Put that in there, because that can be upcoming live shows that we can do together, and we can try to tease apart and give some fresh ideas into the thing called travel planning. When you first start travel planning, you are super excited. I mean, I was like, oh, we're going to be able to go everywhere. We're going to be able to see so many things, and it's just going to be so much fun. And it is, and it's totally fun to plan also where you're going to go and what you're going to see, so you don't miss out on things. But then it can be exhausting. It can be tiring. It can get a little overwhelming trying to put the pieces together. So let's dive into how I actually do this every month. So I take my travel planner, because this is the only place that I put my travel plans. So I recommend that if you don't have one of these, you can either get one from me, or you can create your own system of keeping all of your stuff together. Some people don't like a printed planner. I am a paper and pen girl. I want to see it in black and white. I do double up a little bit with a digital portion of this by putting it on my Google Calendar, so that if I'm planning something in my life, then it's on there that I'm camping that weekend, but the details are not there. The details are actually in the place where I record all of the things that I want to do and what I'm going to do when I get there. So So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my planner. And so I'm opening up to April. I know we're a couple days into April already. And, you know, I actually just completed my first solo trip, an hour and a half away from home. I wanted to stay pretty close. I went to a familiar place, and I recommend this to anybody who's new to RVing. You know, stay somewhere close so that you can get acclimated, so that you're not off hundreds of miles away and you forgot a bunch of stuff, or something goes wrong and you either forgot how to do something or need help or whatever. Closer to home is better. Now, even though I was an hour and a half away, my daughter was only a mile away. So I happened to go back to a very familiar campground that Brian and I always camped at. It's called Rutledge RV Park in Asheville. It's a cute little campground. They're pretty close together. It's not super, you know, pretty trees, but it's not like a state park. It's not like that at all. But it's very convenient for when I want to visit my family, and it was also very familiar to me. So I went for the weekend, and so you can see right here, I've got my Rutledge. Whoop, hold on, I'm backwards on this video. So my Rutledge RV Park is all mapped out on my main calendar. So I opened to my main calendar, and then I put where I'm going on the days that I'm going to be there. So what I do at the beginning of every month is I will go and review this big calendar, and I will make sure that I have put where I'm going and what I want, you know, and all the things of my life that are big, so I don't book camping trips that weekend. Again, I'm part-time. When I was full-time, you know, we were camping all the time, but I still used this as a main part of my plan so that I could see what was going on every day. So I'm actually going to camp twice this month. Since I'm just getting started again, I have 2 campgrounds on here, and I have 2 trips that I'm going to make. So as I open my planner and I look at those, I kind of see what's going on in the month. And then I turn to my campground reservation logs, which are at the end of the activity pages. And I make sure that I have recorded the campground that I'm staying in, and I record all the things about that campground. So at a finger's tip notice, I can actually pull up the phone number, or I didn't put the website on here. I put the phone number, I put the address so that when I want to put it in my GPS, it's right here and I don't have to go back and look it up online. And then of course I've recorded where, how much of a deposit I've made, how much of what the cancellation policy is, and the dates at which I'm going to camp there, the date I'm checking in, the date I'm checking out. And I also record what's important to me is the check-in time, because since I'm part-time right now and I'm going to drive to this happens to be a campground in Pigeon Forge, and I am going to go there for 3 nights, or two nights, 3 days. And so the first day I'm going to be driving there. And so I want to know what time check-in is, because if I want to leave early in the morning, but I can't check in till 1, I have to fill my time. So I like to kind of know when the check-in time is, and then I can backtrack what my departure time is going to be when I'm leaving. And this may seem all very redundant to you. This might come naturally to you, but I just wanted you to kind of walk through this process with me as I'm thinking about my month ahead, and for you to do the same thing. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to review that I actually have booked these sites, because you can totally use your campground reservation logs, which, by the way, when I run out of stock on this planner, the campground reservation logs have a new name, and they're called My Next RV Reservation. And so I wanted to have a little bit of a catchier title to that. It has served us well for 5 years, but I thought that would be a cute addition. So I will have those in the new upcoming planner after I sell the rest of the stock. So in the campground reservation logs, I give you 10 in here so that you can actually like shop for your campground. So if you were going to Pigeon Forge, like I am at the end of the month, and I wanted to compare and contrast 3 or 4 different campgrounds. Or I prefer just three. Three is like the maximum that I like to compare, because you get more than that, it kind of gets overwhelming. So you can use these to shop them, but then be careful that you have actually booked it, that you have a reservation, you've made the deposit, and that you know that you have one secured for your trip. And what I usually do is, if I have done that, let's say, this one's filled in, the one over here is not. But if I had filled this in with one that I was shopping, I would just cross through it so that I knew that I wasn't going to stay there. But I want to review this and make sure that I've given a deposit, and then I know that I have this one booked. And there is a great little place right up here at the top that says reserved yes or no. And so you can circle that and make sure that you actually have reserved that. And if you go back to the calendar, there is a spot in the big calendar right here for you to check off. So the date can go in the colored block right there. As you can see, let me go down here. I'm sorry, opposite. I put my date in the clear one. You can do it either way you want. That's why it's super flexible. And then the other one, I can check it off to know that I have those dates reserved, which comes in super handy when you're full-time, because then you can see your missing pieces. So if you look at your month and you have campgrounds on here, but you haven't checked off your little boxes, you can see at a moment's notice that you have spots you have to fill in. And so you need to go to town planning out your travels. So the next thing that I do after I review where I'm going, I am going to plan in some time in my schedule to plan my activities at my destination. So that's where the next part of my travel planner and how I use mine is I write down what's going on while I am at the campground. So this last weekend, I actually met up with a photographer who is helping me with some new photos for my website. So that was really cool that we spent some time doing that, but I wanted to make sure that I knew that I had that on that day. And then the next day I had a meetup with some lovely, lovely friends who we have only met together on Zoom in my membership called Your Next RV Destination membership. And they wanted to meet up with me because they knew I was coming to Asheville. They came up. They were just about an hour away, and we had a lovely lunch together. And we had a lot of fun getting to know each other face to face instead of over Zoom. Then my son wanted to take me to dinner. It was really, it was quite an interesting weekend because I got fed every which way on my first solo weekend. So I wrote down, Luke wanted to take me to dinner. So I wrote down dinner with Luke. And then over here was breakfast with Macy. That's my granddaughter. She's turning 7. She was turning 7 that day. It was her birthday breakfast. Wanted to make sure I didn't forget about that. And those were the things that I was doing on this camping trip. Now, this does not seem like super fun things to do. So when you're travel planning and when you're planning your destination, the purpose of your destination can be many, many things. It can be exploring. It can be, getting out in nature, but it could be building relationships. This particular weekend, I was building relationships. And I'm very familiar with the Asheville area. I did not need to go around and see a bunch of things because it wasn't a new destination to me. But I highly recommend Asheville as a destination. It's a beautiful place. There's lots of fun things to do, and you could totally fill up your spaces by seeing, hiking and the Biltmore and all the other wonderful things, which I'm sure there's a lot of you that can add to that list. So I'm gonna go through this month. I'm actually, since this is an undated calendar, I fill in the numbers and I make sure that the whole month is filled out. And now I'm gonna plan my activities for where I'm going. Now, I had already done that for the weekend that just passed. So my next weekend is actually another one where I'm building community. I'm meeting up with some dear friends of mine. I don't have an agenda of where I want to go because the whole focus of the next 3 days is to meet up with them and visit and probably go and do what they want to do, because I don't think they've ever been to Pigeon Forge. I have. So But if I was new to an area, I would not start from scratch, because I have the Your Next RV Destination membership that I can go into, and I can search the videos for all the people who are in the membership who give ideas of the things that they've done and the places that they've been already. So I don't have to start from scratch. So let's say I've never been to Pigeon Forge, and even if I have, if I want fresh ideas, maybe I saw all the touristy things the last time I was there, and now I want to do something different. And in the membership, people have been talking about what they do in Pigeon Forge. And so I go in there and I can type in Tennessee, I can type in Pigeon Forge, and it narrows the videos down, and I get all the ideas, the campgrounds that they stayed at, the destination ideas that they said, the must have or must go to restaurants. So I don't have to start from scratch, and I don't have to always look at the visitor guides or things to get started. Now, I love to round out my destination ideas with things like that, but I have that option in the membership, and I'm actually going to open up the membership next month. So stay tuned. If you're interested in getting travel ideas and a place that you can just search for them whenever you're getting ready to go on a trip, then this is the place for you. There's plenty of travel planning resources in that membership, and it's a great community of people. And so if you're interested, stay tuned. I am going to open it up next month. Okay, so after I go into Your Next RV Destination membership, I start, looking over what I'm going to do. I pencil in all the activities that I want to do, and then I start to narrow down those things. Now, for me, for April, again, I'm visiting. I'm not going to do that. But if you are going to do that this month, this is the time to do that. So the next thing that I'm going to do, so for me, I'm at the end of April, because that trip to Pigeon Forge for me is at the last weekend, and so it wraps up my April. Now, what I will do is I will go ahead, and I will, especially if you don't like to plan ahead, I get it, but if you only plan ahead for holidays, you're going to be a winner. So you want to make sure that you have holiday reservations. So as you're going into April this month, as you're doing your travel planning, you're going to want to look ahead. First of all, are you going to camp on Memorial Day weekend? And if you are, I hope it's not too late for you to get reservations. But now is the time to go figure that out. Not waiting till the weekend before, not waiting till the last minute to either ask off work if you're still working, or planning around other activities, and then all of a sudden you have a free weekend and you can't get a reservation because you didn't plan ahead. So that is what I do. I go into the next month or two, and in this case it would be Memorial Day and 4th of July, and I will make sure that I have reservations if I'm going to camp those weekends. So that kind of wraps it up for this session of Plan With Me. I hope you got some interesting tips, or maybe a one or two aha moments of something that you could incorporate into your own planning. If you don't use my travel planner and would like to, you can get one here. If you have your own way of travel planning, great. The thing is that the process is what's important, and that it helps you not to forget anything, and that it's easy to use and it's all in one place. So I really encourage you to figure that part out for yourself. And the travel planner comes as a spiral bound printed copy shipped to your door, or it also is a PDF that you can print yourself. It's undated. You can start anytime. If you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments. So I'm going to jump over here in the comments right now and see who's here. Yay, we got some people. Karen says, hi, Luann from South Carolina. I got my travel planner. I can't wait to use it. It's perfect, and it's what I've been looking for. I am so glad. I am so glad. I'm telling you, I developed this thing because I needed it, and to keep track of everything. So I'm glad that you find it helpful too. Richard says, hello from the Peaches. Hello, Richard and Charlotte. Sandy says that she's is it Forkland? COE Alabama, the first time trying out being a camp host. Well, that's exciting. Great, Sandy. Diane says, my biggest issue is coordinating the route with the campgrounds. And so far, I have been using 𝐉𝐈𝐍 to keep track of my plans, but not perfect. Okay, very good. Yeah, it is hard. Now, from a full-time perspective, whenever Brian and I would make our full-time plans, we would go in and we would plan that destination with the idea that how we were going to get there, how many days we were going to travel to get there when we were moving from place to place, how many stops we were going to need to make, because we limited our travel day miles because we don't want to be exhausted. And so those are things that you would factor in. All right, Tracy says hi from Southern California. Hi, Tracy. Thanks for chiming in. And Jeanette and Lily Rutland and Luna, okay, says hello, hello. And someone says, great video. Awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that. And Ship to Shore says hi from Lake Powell, Arizona. And happy birthday, Brad. Oh, and hello from North Toledo Bend State Park. Is that pretty in Louisiana? That sounds pretty. And Kim says hello from Jackson, Tennessee. And Ship to Shore says, we really like using your travel planner to stay organized. Well, I appreciate that. It helps me, and it just helps my brain. I know that if it's in there, then I don't have to think about it. So someone else said that they are putting the house on the market and going full-time this summer, and the planner has been very helpful. I also loved your full-time webinar. I took it last summer. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. In fact, we're going to be doing another one. I am going to be doing another one coming up in a month or two. I'm still working on my website rebrand, which was a completely bigger thing than I thought was going to be. So yeah, it's taken me a little bit, but I have some plans for some upcoming workshops. I have plans for a downsizing workshop. I have plans for a full-timing workshop and a travel planning workshop. So we'll be talking more about that. And oh, Rosemary, she's in Louisiana. That's who's at North Toledo Bend State Park. Okay, awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I do hope this was helpful. And we're going to do it again next month because I'm going to come at it from a little bit of different perspective. And as we move through these plan with me's, let me know, what are you struggling with? What can we address? How can we make it better? I mean, it could even be an update in a future planner if something is working for you that is just really great. I would love for you to share it with us and everyone. All right. Well, you guys have a blessed week. Hit me up in the comments if you need anything. And if you're watching this in the replay, I love it. People have been doing it. Put #replay and let me know that you saw the video. That means so much to me. And while you're at it, love, like, subscribe, do all the things so that the algorithm can show these videos to other people. I want to help as many people as possible, kind of streamline and simplify their RV life so that they can have fun. So, all right, well, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. And you guys take care and have a great week.